Hello everyone and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Katie Logan remained motionless in the threshold of the Forrester Creations executive office, her fingers still gripping the doorknob as if it were the only thing holding her to reality. The late afternoon sun, flowing through the floor-to-ceiling windows, cast long shadows across Brooke's polished mahogany desk, where she sat, first unaware of her sister's presence. Brooke was littered with papers, including legal paperwork, trademark filings, and notes written in Ridge's exquisite handwriting. But it was the computer screen that drew Katie's attention, flashing with an email thread that made her stomach turn. She had arrived unannounced, intending to calm things down following their heated disagreement earlier in the week. The dispute over the Logan trademark for Katie's new design firm had quickly escalated, with Brooke maintaining that the name belonged to her industry legacy, while Katie fought back, claiming it was their shared family name. Bill had acquired the trademark for her thanks to Liam's quick thinking, and Katie was riding a surge of victory mixed with lingering pain. But suddenly, as she peeked at the computer before Brooke could close the window, Katie saw something that dashed her delicate hopes of reconciliation. The email came from Carter Walton, Forrester's COO and Brooke's close ally in this dispute. It included a strategy session, including methods for challenging trademark validity, potential loopholes in the application procedure, and even proposals for a public relations campaign to depict Katie's endeavor as an opportunistic grab rather than a legitimate new line. The linked paper outline, however, was significantly worse. It included plans to recruit designers from Katie's young team, disseminate rumors in industry circles about instability at the new Logan house, and use Forrester's contacts to prevent supplier contracts. Brooke responded enthusiastically, using lines such as, "We can't let her destroy what I've built," and Ridge agrees, "This needs to be stopped before it gains momentum." Katie's breath was trapped in her throat. This was not simply dissent, it was sabotage. Her own sister, the woman who had always claimed unwavering love and loyalty despite their turbulent history, was deliberately working to derail her goal. Brooke's escapades with Bill during Katie's marriage, the betrayals that had nearly devastated her, and the pledges of sisterly support that always felt conditional, all came flooding back. And now this. Katie thought the trademark struggle was personal but fair, two powerful women competing for legacy. However, this was a deliberate destruction. Brooke finally noticed her and spun in her chair with a start. "Katie, what are you doing here?" Her voice was too bright and strained, and she hastily closed the laptop. Unfortunately, it was too late. Katie's eyes, wide with astonishment and betrayal, met Brooke's, and the air became thick with unsaid accusations. I came to talk," Katie said, barely above a whisper. But the words died as the gravity of what she'd witnessed set in. Horrified wasn't strong enough. It was a stomach punch, a rush of sickness that caused her to sway on her feet. How could Brooke accomplish this? Katie, after forgiving so much, supported Brooke through her own scandals and heartbreaks. The Logan sisters were supposed to be impenetrable, united against the world. Yet here was proof that Brooke considered Katie not as an equal, but as a threat to be eliminated. Brooke stood and nervously smoothed her beautiful blouse. "Talk. About what? The trademark? Katie, I thought we agreed to disagree on that." Her tone became defensive, and her eyes darted away. She knew. She knew exactly what Katie had seen. "You weren't just disagreeing," Katie replied, her voice rising as anger overpowered the initial terror. "You were planning to sabotage me. Poach my team? Block my suppliers? Turn the industry against me before I even launch." Tears welled up in her eyes, but she pushed them away forcefully. "How could you, Brooke? I'm your sister." Brooke's face turned pale, then flushed with remorse and defiance. "It's not sabotage, Katie. It's protection. Forrester Creations, my line, Brooke's bedroom, it's built on the Logan name through me. You can't just take that and start a rival house. It's bad for business, bad for all of us." "Bad for you, you mean?" Katie replied, walking deeper into the room. Her heart hammered with wrath and deep anguish. "This isn't about business. This is about you not being able to stand me succeeding without your shadow over it. You've always had to be the star Logan, the one everyone talks about. The beautiful one, the seductive one, the one who gets everything. The words poured out, years of pent-up resentment bubbling to the surface. Katie had spent so long as the good sister, forgiving and stepping aside. But witnessing Brooke's secret plot revealed was the final straw. Ridge then entered, drawn by the rising shouts, his demeanor turning from concern to apprehension as he assessed the situation. "What's going on here?" he inquired, stepping automatically to Brooke's side. Katie laughed harshly, devoid of humor. "Ask your wife. She's the one conspiring with Carter to destroy my company before it even starts." She pointed to the closed laptop. "I saw the emails, Brooke. All of them." Ridge cast a glance at Brooke, who avoided his eyes. "Brooke? Is this true?" "It's not like that," Brooke said faintly. "We were just exploring options." "Legal options." "Legal sabotage," Katie replied. "And you were all in on it. Enthusiastic, even." She looked to Ridge. "You too? The man who's supposed to be family?" Ridge hesitated, his loyalties divided. He was madly in love with Brooke, but Katie was also family, Bill's wife and Will's mother. "We were trying to protect Forrester," he explained finally. "Katie, your house is direct competition. We can't just roll over." "That's not protection," Katie remarked, her voice breaking. "That's betrayal. From my own blood." Her terror grew as she comprehended the full extent. This was not a spontaneous reaction, it was planned. Brooke had a smile on her face while sharpening the knife behind her back. Katie contacted Bill in a moment of desperation as she stood outside the door, and he arrived moments later. He charged in like a hurricane, his eyes burning as Katie described what she'd uncovered. "You what?" he yelled at Brooke. "Plotting against my wife? Your sister? After everything?" The meeting erupted in turmoil, with accusations flying and defenses breaking. Brooke tearfully stated that everything was a misunderstanding, that she loved Katie and only wanted the best for her. But the harm had been done. Katie was horrified by not only the secret, but also what it indicated about Brooke's heart. The sister she idolized as a child, the one who had gotten her through difficult times, had her own dark side. Jealousy so intense that it justified ruin. Katie's mind raced as the argument continued. Her new fashion firm, which Bill had given her as a sign of their restored love and independence, was now being attacked directly from within her family. Designers she had approached might back out if rumors spread. Suppliers may have cold feet. The launch she had envisioned, a triumphant comeback to the profession on her terms, could fail before the first sketch was completed. But beneath the horror was a spark of determination. Katie had survived heart transplants, betrayals, and losses that would have crushed lesser women. This secret, as horrible as it was, ignited a fire within her. She would not let Brooke win this way. No more playing the forgiving younger sister. "I trusted you," Katie murmured quietly among the screaming, her words cutting through like a razor. Everyone went silent. "I forgave you for Bill, for the lies, for always putting yourself first. But this? Plotting my failure in secret? That's not a sister. That's an enemy." Brooke stretched out, her eyes flooding with tears. "Katie, please. I didn't mean..." But Katie took a step back, startled at the touch. "Save it, Brooke. The Logan name? Keep your version of it. I'll build mine without your poison." She turned to walk away, Bill by her side, leaving Brooke sobbing in Ridge's arms. The secret had been revealed, and the gap was irreparable. Katie's shock stayed like a deep wound, yet it drove her determination. The fashion world would witness a new Logan emerge, not in Brooke's shadow, but forging her own path. In the days that followed, the consequences spread throughout Los Angeles's elite circles. Whispers about the sisters' quarrel spread quickly, with industry insiders taking sides. Team Katie gained popularity, with many seeing Brooke's actions as petty gatekeeping, especially given Katie's long employment at Forrester and apparent brilliance. Donna, the middle Logan sister, attempted to negotiate, appealing with them for peace, but Katie was finished compromising. She showed her true colors, Katie informed Donna during tearful lunches. I can't unsee that. Brooke, meanwhile, struggled with guilt and rebellion. Late evenings found her poring at old images of herself and Katie as girls, wondering how they'd gotten to this point. Ridge supported her, assuring her that it was business, but he also questioned the severity of the sabotage plots. Carter, caught in the middle, took a step back to focus on Forrester's damage control needs. Bill placed his whole support behind Katie, investing heavily in her home, top designers, good display space, and relentless marketing. Will and Liam also rallied, with Will planning digital ads and Liam handling public relations to counteract any unfavorable spin. As the launch date approached, Katie turned her horror into creativity. Her sketches inspired collections based on resistance, betrayal, and rebirth, with strong, exquisite lines that shouted independence. The tragedy of Brooke's secret served as her inspiration, transforming agony into power. One evening, as Katie evaluated fabric swatches in her new office with a view of the city, Bill embraced her. You're going to eclipse her, he said softly. This secret? It freed you. Katie nodded, the dread still cast a shadow but dissipating. Brooke's treachery frightened her to the heart, exposing fractures in their relationship that she had ignored for years. But in discovering it, Katie discovered strength she didn't realize she possessed. The bold and the beautiful world of fashion was about to enter a new era, one in which Katie Logan stood tall, unabashed, and victorious. Katie couldn't stop thinking about the confrontation. The revelation of the accusatory emails was a watershed moment. Horror had gripped her like ice, freezing her in place as the revelations emerged. Brooke, her older sister who had taught her about love and sorrow, had harbored profound animosity and plotted destruction. Katie was troubled by flashbacks of her childhood in the valley, when Brooke protected her from bullies, her adolescent years, when Brooke's attractiveness opened doors while Katie struggled with health concerns, and her adulthood, when Brooke's scandals drew Katie into drama but always left her as the victim. Katie had always been the supporter and forgiver. However, the secret sabotage plan showed Brooke's fear of sharing the spotlight, of Katie shining alone. In quiet moments, Katie lamented the sisterhood she had once believed in. The horror was not simply the plot. It was the understanding that Brooke's love was possessive and conditional. She doesn't want me to succeed without her permission, Katie told Bill one night, tears falling again. Bill, ever the swordsman mogul, vowed retribution in his own way by securing Katie's win. We'll make Logan synonymous with you, he said. Katie's house became increasingly popular as the weeks and months passed. Buyers were impressed by the leaked designs, which were meticulously picked. A preview show received positive pre-reviews. Brooke observed from a distance, her own mind taking small dips as focus changed. One day, an invitation arrived at Forrester, Katie's launch party. Brooke glanced at it, her hand trembling. Will she go? Apologize? Or stay away, allowing the schism to widen? Katie, ready for the show, felt a pang but suppressed it. The tragedy of that discovery left her damaged, but it also emancipated her. No more secrets or shadows. Just Katie Logan, ready to seize her destiny. The night of the launch arrived, with lights blazing and cameras clicking. Models walked in Katie's creations, looking confident, ferocious, and stunning. Bill smiled beside her, while Will and Electra cheered from the front row. Brooke watched the live stream alone in her bedroom, emotions mixed with pride and remorse. Katie was horrified as the truth she had sought to hide burst, affecting everything. But, as acclaim erupted for Katie, Brooke muttered to the television, I'm sorry. Too late? Perhaps. But in the Logan's universe, forgiveness was always possible, until it wasn't. Katie, relishing in victory, felt the horror vanish. She had survived the discovery and transformed it into fuel. Brooke's secret almost broke her, but it made her unbreakable. And so the saga went on, with sisters divided and legacies fighting in the never-ending drama of love, treachery, and forgiveness that defined their existence. Katie's horror at Brooke's secret sparked her best chapter yet, Logan rising, not falling. The fashion world watched in awe as the struggle of the sisters transformed everything. Katie began attending therapy sessions, which revealed years of history. The psychologist assisted her in processing the horror, not just the sabotage but the pattern. Brooke's desire for control, either resulting from their mother's favoritism or Brooke's own fears disguised as confidence. Brooke, too, sought advice from Ridge and Donna, expressing her jealously. "I was scared," she admitted. "Scared of losing my place." Attempts at reconciliation failed, with lunches canceled and calls ignored. The secret hovered between them, like a ghost. In quiet moments, Katie missed her sister. The fear faded to sadness. But trust? It was smashed. The industry proclaimed Katie's line a success, with contracts pouring in. Forrester adapted, while Brooke innovated to remain relevant. One day, Brooke wrote a letter, a real apology appealing for conversation. Katie read it, her heart aching with lingering horror. Reply? Or let go? In the bold and beautiful tapestry of family, secrets are shattered and recreated. Katie's discovery terrified her, but it forged her again. Stronger, wiser, independent but empowered. Katie Logan had always thought that secrets would disclose themselves when the time was right, but nothing prepared her for the moment she discovered Brooke's. Initially, it was not dramatic. There was no thunder, no rising shouting, and no dramatic confession made under brilliant lights. Instead, it seeped into Katie's consciousness gradually, like a chill that refused to leave. At first, she disregarded the unsettling sensation as stress or lingering animosity, which never fully goes away in a family like theirs. But as the pieces started to fall into place, the reality became too obvious to deny, and horror sunk deep in her chest. Katie had spent years trying to reestablish a feeling of security in her life. After grief, illness, and betrayal, she told herself that she would no longer ignore her intuition. She had learned, often painfully, that trust within the Logan family could be both beneficial and detrimental. Brooke, her sister, had always been larger than life, passionate, reckless, and unwaveringly certain that love could conquer anything. Katie adored Brooke, but she was also acutely aware of her weaknesses. Even yet, she never dreamed Brooke would cross the line that was now so clearly visible in her mind. It started with little discrepancies. Brooke appeared preoccupied throughout conversations, with her concentration wandering at times when she would ordinarily be totally involved. There were late evenings at Forrester Creations that didn't make up, meetings that went on for too long without explanation, and Brooke's tone became protective when certain names were mentioned. Katie noticed everything. She always did. At first, she attempted to justify it. Brooke had always been passionately committed to her career and relationships, often to the point of obsession. Maybe she was just overwhelmed. But then there were those glances. Those brief, intense moments when Brooke caught eyes with someone before abruptly looking away. Katie had seen the look before. It was the same expression Brooke gave when she was about to do something she knew she shouldn't but couldn't stop herself from wanting. Katie felt a rush of dread, which she fought valiantly to repress. Katie's suspicions grew when she caught a portion of a conversation she was not supposed to hear. It happened late one evening, as the home was quiet and Katie was getting ready to depart after a long day. Brooke's voice crept down the corridor, muffled yet eager. She was on the phone, and while Katie couldn't understand every word, the emotion was clear. There was longing combined with guilt. When Brooke noticed Katie nearby, she suddenly ended the conversation, her smile too strained to be comforting. Katie kept thinking about that moment, as if it were a broken record. She started asking herself questions that she didn't want to answer. Who was Brooke talking to like that? Why the secrecy? Most importantly, why did it seem so familiar? Katie found herself studying Brooke more carefully over time, which she felt both ashamed and justified about. She noticed how Brooke avoided certain topics and changed the subject whenever conversations became difficult. Katie's suspicions intensified as Brooke continued to evade. It was as if an invisible wall had formed between them, and Katie could tell that something important was being hidden on the other side. The truth was ultimately revealed during an unexpected moment of clarity. Katie had gone to Forrester Creations to drop off some documents and did not mean to remain long. As she approached one of the offices, she could hear voices inside. One of them was clearly Brooke's. The other caused Katie's heart to stop. She stood still, her hand hovering near the door, as the revelation hit her. The tone of the discourse, the intimacy, the barely veiled emotion, it was all present. There was no mistaking it anymore. Brooke was harboring a secret that may shatter not only their family, but also many other people's lives. Katie felt physically nauseous as the ramifications hit in. Her mind was filled with memories of past betrayals and unhealed hurts. She recalled Brooke's vows, his assurances that certain mistakes would never be repeated. And yet, here they were again, perched on the brink of a familiar abyss. Katie addressed Brooke, initially out of disbelief rather than anger. She needed to hear it directly, giving Brooke the opportunity to explain, or even deny it. But Brooke's reply says it all. The amazement on her face, followed by resignation, was more devastating than any loud revelation could have been. Katie realized her suspicions were well-founded at that point. Brooke attempted to excuse herself, like she had always done. She spoke about complex emotions, unfinished sensations that refused to be buried. She said that she never intended for things to escalate this far, that everything had started innocently enough. Katie listened intently, her heart breaking with each word. She'd heard these explanations before, in various forms, at various stages of their lives. They always resulted in the same outcome. What terrified Katie the most was not the secret itself, but the pattern it represented. It was a reminder that some cycles were more difficult to break than anyone wanted to accept. Brooke's unwillingness to let go, to respect boundaries, to fully examine the repercussions of her actions, all of this came flooding back in a surge of terrible clarity. Katie questioned everything after that. She questioned her own judgment, wondering how she had been so blind. She questioned the cornerstone of her relationship with Brooke, understanding that their trust had once again been broken. And she wondered if forgiveness was even possible this time. The consequences were immediate and far-reaching. News of Brooke's secret spread quickly, affecting those closest to the situation. The reactions varied from shock to anger to profound disappointment. Katie found herself in the middle of it all, caught between loyalty to her sister and a strong need to protect herself from further damage.